Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, RingsideNews.com. The WrestleMania 31 card is now finally starting to take shape now that Fastlane is over, now that the post-Fastlane Raw is over. Got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift regarding Fastlane and Raw and WrestleMania 31 and other topics. Before I get started here, real quick, if you enjoyed today's video, please feel free to buy an official NoDQ&A video t-shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com. Check out the link in the description box for more. Now that that's out of the way, let's get down to it here. First one comes from Mario Warfare 24. Okay, the ending of Raw wasn't what I expected from Randy Orton. I mean, he should have RKO'd Seth Rollins, so they should have started their feud into WrestleMania. What are your thoughts? I did not like the ending of Raw. I've been very vocal about it on Facebook and Twitter. I wasn't a fan of it at all. Doesn't make logical sense to me. Clearly, WWE has 4 or 5 weeks until WrestleMania, so they need some sort of storyline. But in this case, having Randy Orton rejoin the Authority and then be totally okay with teaming with Seth Rollins up until the point where Seth Rollins decides to be a jerk, to me that really hurt my interest in the Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins match. I feel that it really hurt Randy Orton's momentum. Randy Orton came back at Fastlane, got a huge reaction, came out on Raw. The crowd was going nuts for him, chanting his name, chanting RKO. To me, this angle that they're doing right now, it's going to cool off Randy Orton, I think. Now, some people out there are saying that, oh, well, it's just going to be a ruse. He's going to turn on the Authority. Of course, I mean, I'm fully expecting Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and in the end, he's going to turn on them. But I just don't understand the point of having him join the group and team with Seth Rollins. I mean, if it was going to be a ruse in the storyline, that Randy Orton was just setting them up, which everyone was assuming anyways, but if he was going to pretend to be with them, why would he work that hard in that match? Wouldn't he just let Seth Rollins start off the match, and then when Seth Rollins comes in for the tag, Randy Orton RKOs him out of nowhere and just leaves him alone with Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns? That would make logical sense if he was setting up Seth Rollins, but for him to just team up with them, and then at the end, he was tempted to attack Seth Rollins, but then leaves. It's completely illogical. I mean, Randy Orton was gone for 3 months. 3 months of his career was thrown away because of Seth Rollins. You would think that Randy Orton would be furious. He would do everything in his power to get his hands on Seth Rollins. And you would think WWE would do a storyline where Randy Orton tries to get his hands on Seth Rollins and, they kick him out of the building, or They have some sort of clause where he cannot touch Seth Rollins. There's a number of different storylines they could have done. This one, to me, not feeling it at all. I think it's going to cool off his momentum. So, they still have 4 or 5 weeks into WrestleMania, but wasn't a fan of what they did on Raw at all. All right, this one comes from Carbull Tunnel. Hey, Aaron, what are your thoughts on the Bushwackers being inducted into the Hall of Fame? Personally, I think it's good to have them there. If anything, people know who they are, at least hardcore wrestling fans. Also, what's with R-Truth being on commentary? Bushwackers in the Hall of Fame. I have very mixed feelings on this. I mean, the Bushwackers prior to WWE had a long career as the Sheep Herders, and they were awesome heels back in the day. I've seen some tapes of them, prior to going into WWE. But the thing is, the vast majority of today's audience is only going to remember the Bushwackers as the Bushwackers in WWE. And the Bushwackers were a comedy tag team. They were usually opening match. They did the comedy. Nobody really took them very seriously. Yes, they were entertaining, but is that really the main criteria for going into the Hall of Fame? I mean, if you're basing that off of how entertaining somebody was, you could induct Santino Marella into the Hall of Fame. You could induct Al Snow into the Hall of Fame. To me, it really waters down the Hall of Fame. It's right up there with Coco Beware going in. Coco Beware, another entertaining superstar, but and another guy who had a successful career before WWE. But people remember Coco Beware for being a lower card babyface, and same thing with the Bushwackers. I don't know. I think that there are a lot of other teams out there that should be in the Hall of Fame before the Bushwackers. Demolition, Heart Foundation, Harlem Heat, and I'll get to that in a few minutes. Steiner Brothers, New Age Outlaws. There are tons of tag teams that have done a lot in WWE that should be going into the Hall of Fame before the Bushwackers, in my opinion. But it is what it is, and it'll be a fun moment, them coming out and just goofing off and all that stuff. It'll be fun. It'll be good nostalgia. But I'm not really the biggest fan of them going in. And R-Truth on commentary. I'm guessing he's going to be part of the WrestleMania IC title match. I guess it's looking like they're going to do some sort of multi-man match, which I'm not surprised about. I figured that they would do some kind of multi-man match or a series of matches. They've got the Andre the Giant Battle Royal now. So they're going to have these matches in order to get as many people on the WrestleMania card as possible. All right, this one comes from Chris Mace 39628. Do you agree with the Primetime Players being the first team to beat the Ascension? I really don't care at this point. The fact that the Primetime Players are still a thing in 2015, that just goes to show you that WWE has no idea what to do with Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. Putting them back together, whatever. Beating the Ascension, once again, whatever. Ascension were pretty much killed a month ago when you had the Raw reunion and you had the NWO and the Outlaws and APA beat them down. They really lost all credibility at that point. Whatever. Any team could have beat the Ascension. At this point, I'm beyond caring. I knew the team wasn't going to go anywhere after that Raw reunion, and it's pretty much over for them. They have no credibility, and I don't know if there's anything that will give them credibility in the future. So, whatever. Primetime Players beat them. Doesn't really matter in the end. All right, this one comes from CPW1978. If Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus happens again at WrestleMania, do you think Bryan could possibly beat him in less than 18 seconds? Well, he could, and that would be a great laugh, whatever, but I don't think it should happen. I think if Sheamus is going to face Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, those two should be given time to have a good match. I think people want to see Daniel Bryan in a long match. I think that having Daniel Bryan in a 15-second match would be a complete waste of him. People want to see him do his thing. They want to see a full Daniel Bryan match at WrestleMania, one that they can remember for years to come. That's what people want. So I think doing a 15-second match, it would be cute and all, but I think people would actually be upset with that. Even if Daniel Bryan got his win back on Sheamus, I think people would be pissed, actually. They're spending a lot of money on WrestleMania, especially the people going to Levi's Stadium. They want to see Daniel Bryan in a full-length match, something that they will remember. So to me, that would be a mistake. If that's going to happen, do it at Extreme Rules, do it on Raw, do it some random time, not do it at WrestleMania. Actually, one thing they could do is maybe Sheamus comes back for his first match against Daniel Bryan on Raw, it loses in 15 seconds, snaps, and turns heel. How about that for an idea? All right, this one comes from Bray Wyatt. Hopefully this is not the real Bray Wyatt. Please answer in video. Hey Aaron, I was checking out a few posters from ROW Wrestling and learned that Harlem Heat had a match. Is there a chance we could get Booker T and Stevie Ray, a.k.a. Harlem Heat, to return in the WWE? And maybe in the Hall of Fame. Thanks. I would be cool with that. Harlem Heat was one of the more memorable tag teams in WCW. Now, will they go in? The fact that they were never in WWE, I think that will work against them. Also, the fact that Booker T has had a very successful career on his own. I think that it's more likely Booker T will go in on his own. Or actually, he's already in the Hall of Fame, so scratch that. Booker T and Stevie Ray going into the Hall of Fame. I definitely could see that happening 5-10 years down the line. I would rather see them in than the Bushwackers, as I mentioned earlier. Harlem Heat was a very memorable tag team, and they had a lengthy run on a mainstream stage So a lot of people will remember them. They were part of the Monday Night War era. I'm all for Harlem Heat going in at some point. They're one of the better tag teams, one of the more deserving tag teams to go in. All right, this one comes from Gravy Sticks. So was Reigns' win over Bryan supposed to get fans liking Reigns more, or to further piss off the people who are rejecting Reigns? Seems to me if they really wanted people to cheer for Reigns, they should have just had him go clean against John Cena. Well, I think the idea was they want to make Roman Reigns credible, and I talked about this in my predictions video. Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns going out, having a really good match, that'll help fans perhaps respect Roman Reigns. I don't know if it fully worked or not, and having the idea of Daniel Bryan's endorse Roman Reigns, possibly getting Roman Reigns more respect from the fans. That remains to be seen, but I think if Roman Reigns continues to go out there and have really good matches, that will be the thing that helps him the most, in my opinion. He needs to earn the respect of the people that are critical of him. He needs to win those people over, and the best way to do that is to go out and bust your ass and have great matches. And that's one of the reasons why I feel that people have rejected him, is because the Shield broke up. He started to have a feud with Seth Rollins, and then he got hurt. Then he came back, and they just started building him for the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns hasn't really had any kind of memorable matches in 2014. They gave him the Superstar of the Year when he really didn't do all that much as a singles competitor. I think that that's where a lot of the resentment comes from. Roman Reigns goes out there and has a lot of memorable matches. In time, I think people are going to start respecting him more. All right, last question here from Raw is War 98. Hey Aaron, if Vince is so in love with guys that are muscular, why didn't wrestlers like Hercules, Paul Orndorff, British Bulldog, Don Morocco, and Chris Masters didn't go as far as they could have in WWE? Well, a lot of those guys did get significant pushes, and I think a lot of it had to do with their size. In cases of guys like British Bulldog and Chris Masters, they had drug issues, they had personal problems, and I think that hurt them. Paul Orndorff had a good run, but, he had injuries, injuries and just, wellness policy violations. There's lots of different factors that can lead to somebody losing their push. And also, not being all that good in the ring. At the end of the day, if you're muscular, if you got size, you're going to get an opportunity. But then you got to be able to perform in the ring. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. That's the way it goes. And, you got to be able to perform long-term on a regular basis in the ring in order to be able to keep that push. They'll take a look at you if you got the look, but you have to be able to continue to perform on a full-time basis. All right, so that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding WrestleMania 31. I'll be there WrestleMania weekend covering the Hall of Fame, Raw, and of course WrestleMania 31. So stay tuned for more on that. And if you enjoyed today's video, please share it on Facebook and Twitter. Tell a friend about No DQ&A video, and I'll see you guys next time.